Good day. I am Precious Angeline F. Laguras, BS at 3 Science. I will discuss about the intellectual property right. What is the intellectual property right? An intellectual property right is a work or invention that is a result of creativity such as a manuscript or design, to which one has the rights and for which one may apply for a patent, copyright, and trademark. It only discusses the original and the one who copy the work of the original. Okay, intellectual property protection is so important in fostering innovation. Without protection of ideas, individuals will not be able to enjoy the full benefit of their inventions and they will not be compensated for their creations. This encourages innovation without the fear that a competitor will steal the idea or take the credit for it. World Intellectual Property Organization. According to the WIPO, intellectual property relates to inventions, literary and creative works, designs and symbols, names and pictures utilized in trade. All of that are examples of mental creations. An intellectual property right is a person's or company's right to have exclusive rights to anything. These intellectual properties are protected internationally by the World Intellectual Property Organization or the WIPO. Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. The Philippines are one of the 191 member states. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines supervises and implements state policies related to intellectual property in our country. The Republic Act 8293 established this office. Copyright and related rights, trademarks and service marks, geographic indications, industrial designs, patents, layout, designs, or topographies of integrated circuits, and protection of concealed information are all included in this legislation. Information, copyright, and related rights are the ones that apply in the educational settings.
Hi everyone, I am Angelica Coronado and I'm going to report copyright. So let's start. So what is copyright? Copyright is a legal term used to describe the rights that creators have over their literary and artistic work. So it's the owner rights of their work. Copyright refers to the legal rights given the owner of the original work. These works are original intellectual creation. That work which includes the publication, distribution, and adaptation. Copyright is only certain for the period of time, usually between 50 to 100 years after the author's death, at which point the work enters the public domain. So when it enters to the public, this original intellectual creation in the literary and artistic domain, protected in the moment their creation, which include the following: books, pamphlet, articles, and other writing, even essays, biography, periodicals and newspaper, lectures, sermon, addresses, dissertations, such as even letters, love letters, dramatic or dramatical musical composition, choreographic works or entertainment in dumb show, musical composition, work of drawing, paintings, especially architecture, sculpture, engraving, lithography, or other works of art, models, or design of work of art. So, every kind of art. Now that we all know what copyright is, there is copyright rules to remember. Number one, just because you found it online doesn't mean it's free to use, even if you are a teacher or student. Number two, there are a lot of resources you can use freely, including work that's at Creative Commons license or it is in public domain. Number three, you have a right as a creator to have your work protected from copying, and you can also give your content and Creative Commons license. 4. If in doubt about using content, ask the creator for permission. Find a free alternative, purchase an alternative, or make your own materials. Number 5. Instead of looking for loopholes, Consider whether you're being the most responsible and ethical digital citizen you can be. And most importantly, avoid plagiarism. Thank you. That's all.
The internet is very rich source of these materials and we should be careful in using them. These works are projected by the sole fact of their creation, irrespective of their form of mode of creation, as well as of their content, quality, and purpose. Now that copy and paste very accessible commands in our computer toolbars, we should try not to violate the copyright laws, otherwise we could be accused of copyright infringement. The copyright infringement is the use of works without permission where the copyright holder has the exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform the protected work or to make derivative works. Proper citation should be used when including them in our output. The guidelines on online use of copyrighted materials by Smaldino, Loader, and Russell in the year 2012. The first one is contrary to popular opinion. All material on the internet is copyrighted unless stated. Otherwise, it is copyrighted even if it does not display the copyright symbol. It discussed that all the materials that can be found in the internet are copyrighted. It means there is a form of intellectual property law protects original works of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works such as poetry novels, music songs, computer softwares, and architecture. This picture is very nice because the author has protection under works. And the second one is that an email is an original work fixed in a tangible medium of expression that is covered by copyright. Hence, it is recommended that you should not forward any email without permission in consideration of both Copyright and Privacy Act. It discussed that an email or electronic mail is a computer-based application for the exchange of messages between users and forwarding an email, you have to be considerate enough to protect the author of the message. And the third one is downloading an article from newspaper and website. It is fine to download an article from the internet, especially if you want to read it on offline. But since we copyright law, you need to at least put citations to provide or to avoid plagiarism and also for the author to be recognized of his works. Number 4. You cannot post students' essays, poems, or other works on the school website unless you have permission of the student and their parents or guardians. In our law, we have the so-called Privacy Act. We are not allowed to post any works of our students in any website, not at least the student permitted you in doing. So always remember that it is the right of the students to protect their privacy. And the last one is educators should treat copyrighted materials from the internet the same way they do to print formats. The best guidelines is to always obtain permission. As an educator, we are not promoting plagiarism, so we always need to be careful in treating the materials we are getting from the internet. If we are not familiar on what to do, always take a look for assistance. It is always as much better to be sure than taking a risk of what you are doing. Not really sure about. After all, it is student who will be affected on every actions that you will make.
Good day to all. My name is Darwin Angeles and I am from BS Ed 3 Science. For today's topic, I will be discussing about copyright infringement versus plagiarism. So, plagiarism is something that we've a lot known a lot, and plagiarism is an act of an act of fraud that involves both stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterward. And another violation of intellectual property is a plagiarism. Although plagiarism and copyright infringement are related ideas, these two are different. So let me discuss the differences of copyright and plagiarism. So plagiarism is turning in someone else's work as your own. So when you are copying an article or paperworks on the internet and we turn it out to our professor without credit or entirely we copy the text, that is a term of plagiarism. Second is copying words or ideas from someone else without permission or without reference. So that is, of course, that is plagiarism. Failing to put a quotation marks, giving credit. So when we are using quotation or inspirational quotes from the famous people or famous writer, when we are putting it in our works, we must uh, give credits to that person and putting quotation mark. Then changing words but copying the sentence structure for source without giving credit. So very known for nowadays is paraphrasing tools like uh, many paraphrasing tools are known, and many students learners are doing this. So uh, as a as a student and as a learner and as a future educator, we don't tolerate it. So 6 is copying so many words or ideas from a source that makes up the majority of your work. So in that, because we are when we are getting an idea on the internet, on the other articles, we don't need to copy the words, that looking at the majority that you work. It's like uh, you change a little things, but the concept is the concept is from others. So for this we must aware that what we are doing. For image, videos, and the following are counted as plagiarism. So when we hear image, videos, music, uh, in our self we realize that it is being copyrighted, but in this form we have counted as plagiarism. First is copying media, especially image from other website to paste it into your own papers or website. So when we are doing blogs are commonly blogs, um, uh, blogs and online shops. So when we are copying the pictures or the pictures in the internet and paste it out to our brochures or in our blogs, that is a form of plagiarism because we don't own that image. Then second is making a video using footage from others' video or using copyrighted music as a part of the soundtrack. So when we are doing such things. So, well, a minimal example of this is when we are having an event. So, when we are having an event, we uh, we insert clips for we insert clips that is not from us and not from we've taken. So that is a form of plagiarism. Third is For the third is performing other person's copyrighted music, especially playing a cover. So when we are posting a cover or when we are singing others people compose song, so we must give them credits for that, and we are putting it the credential and the references of the music that you sung. Then fourth is composing a piece of music that borrows heavily from other composition. So especially nowadays, or in the past years, we've known a lot of issues about plagiarism. So So, I give you one example of the cases here in the Philippines that being plagiarized by music. This is when 2020 last year. So the Filipino rappers are under fire allegedly plagiarizing BTS. So we have known the group of ex-battalion Flo G. Kastakli's new song apparently sounds too similar to the to BTS, the Ding, and armies are not having it or the fans. So on September 22, rapper Flo released Dame, which Kastakli to promote local clothing brand on YouTube. It didn't take long for local armies to notice the beat of the lyric punctuation were early similar to Dadeang, a 2018 SoundCloud release by BTS Rapline, RM Suga, and J-Hope. And for that, Scott Stockley is now on a now private Twitter account said, hiniram lang namin yung beat, the and vibe since BTS, their producers, were not credited anywhere either. The Onding Armies accused the Hayaan Mo Sila song rappers of plagiarism. So, started the hashtag Saskataclis is going to jail party started trending as the K-pop global fans began arguing fellow armies online to report the YouTube video and to email Big Hit Entertainment to take legal action against the XBA pair. So in that case, the famous ex-battalion and ex-Kastakli here in the Philippines allegedly plagiarized because of the beat of the same music as the uh, BTS Dadeng song. So that is one of the most known plagiarized cases here in the Philippines and outside. So in conclusion, the copyright means that when we are doing works or especially on music videos, we use the clips and the music without permission. In plagiarism, it also uh, we are using other works without credits or credit not references. So in other words, plagiarism refers to copying the work of another and claiming it one's ideas or without proper attribution, while copyright infringement is copying one's work without obtaining permission. In this sense, copyright infringement is a violation of right of copyright holder and copyright holders. There are cases that publisher owns the copyright. In addition, copyright infringement is legal violation with plagiarism is an ethical violation. Thank you.